How to be assertive without sounding like a b. You're not rude. You're just done shrinking to make other people comfortable. Let's keep it honest. Do you feel like having opinions, setting boundaries, and speaking up makes you difficult, demanding, or worse? Have you been conditioned to apologize for existing, to soften every statement, and to make yourself smaller so others feel bigger? But here's what no one tells you. The difference between being assertive and being aggressive isn't your tone. It's their discomfort with your confidence. Do you find yourself apologizing for having needs? Do you water down your opinions to avoid conflict? Do you think being nice means never making anyone uncomfortable? You've been lied to about what makes someone likable versus what makes someone respectable. Today, we're learning how to speak your truth without apology and command respect without aggression. We're covering 5 game changers. First, understanding that assertiveness isn't aggression. You're just finally being clear. Second, recognizing that you're not too much, you're just authentic. Third, how your body language speaks before your words do. Fourth, the power of saying things once clearly and then stopping. And fifth, why practice makes assertiveness feel natural instead of forced. 1. Assertiveness does not equal aggression. Stop confusing being clear with being cold. Here's something that might shock you. Being clear about what you want isn't aggressive. It's efficient. Being direct about your boundaries isn't cold, it's kind. If your honesty makes people squirm, that's their problem, not yours. Aggressive communication attacks the person. Assertive communication addresses the issue. Aggressive says, "You never listen to me, you're so selfish." Assertive says, "I need you to hear what I'm saying because this is important to me." Aggressive communication is driven by emotion and aimed at making the other person feel bad. Assertive communication is driven by clarity and aimed at solving problems or establishing boundaries. The goal isn't to hurt, it's to help everyone understand where you stand. The confusion happens because most people are so used to passive communication that any direct communication feels aggressive by comparison. When you've been trained to expect people to hint, imply, and beat around the bush, straight talk can feel shocking. But here's the truth. Clear communication is actually more respectful than unclear communication. When you say exactly what you mean, you give people the information they need to respond appropriately. When you hint and hope they'll figure it out, you set everyone up for frustration and misunderstanding. Stop softening your words to protect other people's feelings when those words need to be heard clearly. Stop adding unnecessary qualifiers like, "I might be wrong, but," or "this is probably stupid, but." These phrases don't make you sound humble. They make you sound uncertain about your own thoughts. You can be assertive and kind at the same time. You can be direct and respectful simultaneously. The key is speaking from a place of confidence rather than defensiveness, clarity rather than confusion. 2. You're not too much. You're just finally saying the quiet parts out loud. Time for some validation. You're not too much. You're just finally authentic. You're not being dramatic. You're being honest. You're not causing problems. You're highlighting problems that already existed. For years, you've been editing yourself, censoring your thoughts, and minimizing your needs to fit into spaces that were too small for your full personality. Now that you're speaking up, some people are uncomfortable because they prefer the diminished version of you. That discomfort isn't your responsibility to manage. You're not required to make yourself smaller so others feel bigger. You're not obligated to dim your light so others don't feel outshined. You're not supposed to silence your voice so others don't feel challenged. When you start saying the quiet parts out loud, like, "This workload is unrealistic," or that comment was inappropriate, or I disagree with that approach. You're not being difficult. You're being real. And some people aren't ready for real. The people who call you too much when you're being authentic are usually the people who benefited from you being not enough. They liked it better when you didn't ask for what you needed, when you didn't speak up about what was wrong, when you didn't challenge ideas that didn't make sense. Paulo Coelho said it perfectly. When you say yes to others, make sure you're not saying no to yourself. Every time you shrink to accommodate someone else's comfort, you're abandoning your own needs, values, and truth. Your full personality isn't a problem to be solved. It's a gift to be shared. Stop apologizing for having thoughts, feelings, opinions, and standards. These things don't make you difficult. They make you human. 3. Your body talks before you do. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes steady. Here's what most people miss. Confidence is 90% nonverbal. You can say all the right words, but if your body language is apologetic, people will hear the apology louder than the assertion. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes steady. These aren't power poses you hold for 2 minutes in a bathroom. These are your default settings when you know your worth. When you believe what you're saying deserves to be heard, your body naturally reflects that belief. Eye contact isn't aggressive, it's engaging. When you look at people while you speak, you're signaling that you believe in your words and you expect them to be taken seriously. When you look away, down, or around the room, you're signaling uncertainty and inviting dismissal. Your posture tells people how to treat your words. Slouched shoulders and a lowered head signal submission and uncertainty. Straight posture and a level gaze signal confidence and conviction. You don't need to puff out your chest or take up excessive space. You just need to occupy your space fully. Voice matters too. Speak from your chest, not your throat. End statements with a period, not a question mark. I need this deadline extended. Lands differently than I need this deadline extended. The first is a statement. The second is a plea. Practice saying important things while looking in a mirror. Notice if your body language matches your words. If you're saying something important, but your body is saying you're not sure it matters, the mixed message will undermine your impact. Own the room without raising your voice. Presence isn't about volume, it's about certainty. When you know you belong in the conversation, everyone else knows it too. 4. Say it once, say it clear, shut up. Here's a revolutionary concept. You don't owe everyone a TED Talk explaining your decisions. You don't need to justify every boundary with a dissertation. You can state your position clearly and then stop talking. Most people over-explain when they're being assertive because they're trying to convince the other person that their position is reasonable. But here's the thing. If you have to convince someone that your boundary is valid, they're not going to respect it anyway. I won't be able to work late tonight is a complete sentence. You don't need to add, because my mom is visiting and I haven't seen her in months, and she's getting older and family is important, and I know this project is important too, but the additional explanation doesn't make your boundary more valid. It makes it sound like you're not sure it's valid. Use strong, short scripts that land. That doesn't work for me. I disagree. I'm not available. That's not acceptable. These statements are clear, direct, and complete. They don't invite negotiation because they're not presented as negotiable. The power is in the pause after you speak. Most people feel compelled to fill silence, especially uncomfortable silence. But when you state your position and then stay quiet, you force the other person to respond to what you actually said instead of getting distracted by over-explanation. Practice saying important things in fewer words. If you can't state your position in 2 sentences, You probably haven't clarified it for yourself yet. Get clear on what you want, say it simply, and trust that clarity is more powerful than complexity. 5. Practice makes assertiveness feel natural. Boundaries get easier the more you use them. Assertiveness becomes automatic when you practice it regularly. Rehearse the hard conversations before you need them so you're not improvising under pressure. Start with low-stakes situations. Practice saying no to small requests. Practice stating preferences about where to eat, what to watch, or how to spend your time. Build the muscle memory of assertive communication when the consequences are minimal. Practice your scripts out loud. I need to talk to you about. I'm not comfortable with. I'd like to discuss. Going forward, I need. These openers help you start difficult conversations with confidence instead of fumbling for words. Role-play scenarios with trusted friends or even in front of a mirror. Practice handling pushback, guilt trips, and attempts to negotiate your boundaries. The more you practice responding calmly to resistance, the less likely you are to cave under pressure. Prepare for common responses. When you set a boundary, people might say, "You're being unreasonable," "You're too sensitive," or "Can't you just this once?" Have responses ready. "I understand you disagree. This works for me." "No, not this time." The goal isn't to become argumentative or combative. The goal is to become comfortable with stating your position clearly and standing behind it calmly. When assertiveness becomes natural, you don't have to psych yourself up for the difficult conversations. You just have them. All right, time for tough love conclusion. You keep calling it people-pleasing like it's a cute quirk. It's not, it's self-erasure. Stop apologizing for having needs, standards, or opinions. Stop prefacing every statement with disclaimers and qualifications. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for your full personality. Your people-pleasing isn't making anyone happy, including you. The people who benefit from your self-diminishment don't actually like you more because of it. They just find you more convenient. And the people who genuinely care about you want to see your authentic self, not your performed version. You think you're being nice, but you're actually being dishonest. You're lying about what you need, what you think, and what you want. You're presenting a false version of yourself and then wondering why your relationships feel shallow and your life feels unsatisfying. The world doesn't need another person who agrees with everything and needs nothing. It needs people who think critically, speak honestly, and stand for something. It needs people who are willing to make others slightly uncomfortable in service of truth and authenticity. Stop waiting for permission to be yourself. Stop looking for evidence that your thoughts and feelings are valid. Stop requiring approval for your boundaries and standards. Now here's your challenge for today. Pick one person or situation where you've been biting your tongue. Practice your assertive script tonight, out loud in the mirror, with confidence in your voice and certainty in your posture. Then say what you mean this week. Don't water it down, don't over-explain it, don't apologize for it. Just say it clearly and let it land. Your voice matters, your boundaries matter. Your authentic self matters. Time to start acting like it. If this video gave you permission to stop shrinking yourself for other people's comfort, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a community of people who choose authenticity over approval and respect over likability. Share this with someone who needs to remember that being assertive isn't being aggressive. It's being honest about who you are and what you need. Remember, you're not broken, you're untrained. And the skills of assertive communication and confident boundary setting can be developed starting with your next conversation. Until next time, stop apologizing for existing and start celebrating your authentic voice.